Okay, it is 5 o'clock coming up on 5:01. We're starting at about the same time we did yesterday, about 40 seconds late. So Carlos says, I'm here with my purse too, ready to go. And Durr said, almost ready to go live. He was here right before showtime. And so we are, in fact, live. And this is an emergency broadcast. Oh, my lights aren't on. Hey, Google, turn on living room lights. So, sad news. Sad news. JR, the company that makes JR Souls, they're commonly referred to as JR Souls, and they are in Germany. And in the description of this video, I have a video tour of the factory, and I have a link to the article that explains that they're shutting down. And some reports say that you're still going to be able to order through January, but I'm not sure about all that. Uh, I learned about this through Beto's Leatherworks. He's got a great channel, BEDO, Beto's Leatherworks, here on YouTube. He does a high-end resoling of shoes and so forth, does amazing work. His videos are just a joy to watch. And he put something on Instagram saying that JR was closing. And so he loves to use the JR soles. They are veg tanned. They take up to a year to go through the whole process. And they are soles for high-end shoes, especially if you walk in the rain. Leather soles do not like rain. And these, the water doesn't penetrate. And they hold up really well, even in wet environments like London, for example. And so they're going under, and I don't know what other producers there are in the world around this fine globe that we have. I don't know how many are at their level, so it might be something that is difficult to source after they are gone. Let's catch up on the comments. Dirt in the house. That's one hell of an ensemble. You're rolling, Craig. Looking good. Says Dirt in the house. This is Kyle says, hey guys, this is a very old cashmere waistcoat that it was made in France. And I like it. It's got a really nice feel to it. It keeps me warm. It's a little bit chilly here today. Keeps me warm. If it's really cool, I can wear this with like a tweed sport coat over it and really stay nice and toasty. And the chicks dig it. The chicks love cashmere. They like to just, rub their hands all over it. So back in my younger days, I used to wear this, and the ladies would go crazy. Oh, I don't have my H2O. Darn it, I got to get my H2O. So I'm gonna pull up the article here on the other machine and try to link to that so that I can do that while I go get my H2O. So stand by for a second. And so that is the article that I'm linking to, and I'll be right back. Newsletter registration. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Okay, so let's go over this article real quick here. That's what generally I think the cobbler stamps them with JR because they cut them out of a big piece of leather and then they stamp them with JR when they put them on the shoe. So these are generally sold to cobblers, high-end cobblers that do work on, respectable shoes, and they'll put these soles on, and then they'll typically stamp them with JR. If you buy something from the original manufacturer, and if they're sourcing these, they usually do not put JR soles on there. Like they'll put their own brand on there, if anything. But the cobblers will typically stamp it with JR, or they may not. I mean, it's up to them. But they typically do that because they like to brag about the fact that they're using JR soles. So this article goes through the whole history. And then I've also got a link to a video that gives a tour of the factory. So definitely check that out. So got some H2O here. And this shirt is a Gitman Brothers shirt made in the United States of America. And the tie, I believe this tie, I'm not going to say where it came from because I'm not sure. It may be a Brooks Brothers tie, but I'd have to take a look. Let's see. Darn it. The things jumped here. Okay. So Kyle said, hey guys, and then we got a comment. Well, another company down the drain, thanks to Obama administration. Let's go. I'll tell you, don't get me started on these lockdowns and the damage that it's going to do long term. I mean, we're just starting to see the full ramifications of this. There are shockwaves incoming that people I don't think expect. Carlos says, you well know I only wear like that in intimate situation. Okay. Or maybe they must have had some conversation. Okay, so Carlos in the house, David Williams is in the house, and Kyle says David's in the house. Triforce Rich, Craig, I'm not doing well. The news of Rendenbach's demise has had me sick. I worry for my mental health. Do we have alternatives, Craig? Will Colonel Littleton make shoes? Now, this is the soles now, Triforce Rich, primarily used in shoe repair. I think some manufacturers source them as original equipment too on the soles, but don't panic yet. Maybe there'll be something in the pipeline. Don't panic yet. Carlos says, do the chickens do like that coat too? Chickens. Oh, chicks versus chickens. Okay, I got it now. Waistcoat. I got it. Okay, David Williams in the house, and he's saying hi to a bunch of people. Durr is hanging out. He says, I would like the hottest girl around. I would take the hottest girl around to a date at the Outback wearing a vest that nice. Yes, absolutely you would. And let's see, Triforce. Carlos, I need your support. I'm losing breath here. Another American icon has been taken down. It's not American. The factory's in Germany. But a lot of cobblers in the United States of America, Beto's Leatherwork being a prominent one, do love to use JR soles. And he, by the way, he bought a bunch of them. He's got a bunch of JR. They come in big sheets, right? And you cut the sole out of them. And he bought a bunch of them. So he's stocked up. So I don't know if he knew this was happening or he anticipated shortages, but he said he has a pretty good stock of JR leather to do soles with for the foreseeable future. So we'll see how that lasts. Rachel will love that. I think her morning time will pass very soon. You got that right, Carlos. Okay. Did her husband really die? I don't think so. I don't think Carlos has executed that contract yet. Hey, Craig, HG Straps started making custom leather shoes about a year and a half ago. Maybe he can make some nice leather soles too. Well, see, that's the problem is it takes a year and it's quite a process. You should watch the video of this place and the process they go through to create these things. It is no joke. But yeah, I'm sure it can be duplicated somewhere else if somebody chooses to do it. Yeah. Let's see here. Carlos, at try, I cannot be empathetic about that. I do not wear quality clothing most of the time. Carlos in the house. Yeah, we gotta get Carlos to at least get get some Russell moccasins. Russell moccasins. Now they're going to have Vibram soles, rubber Vibram soles that can easily be replaced when you wear them out. So you don't have to go to a high dollar cobbler to have a leather sole replaced. Looking good, Craig says. David, well, thank you very much. And sir, we don't talk about my girlfriend's past family. It's a sore subject, sister. I hear you. The body's not even cold. No one knows where the bodies are. I hear. Okay. Did the Nazis use JR soles? They probably did. They were around then, so they probably did. I like a good peach cobbler. All right. I say Brian Laundrie is behind it. I say Brian Laundrie is in the stomach of a 13-foot Florida alligator being digested as we speak. That's what I say. Gitman Brothers versus Turnbull and Asher. Turnbull and Asher, I have a few of their shirts. They're nice. I like the shirts. I mean, Turnbull and Asher are generally going to be higher dollar, I think. And I think you can't go wrong with either, depending on the style. Some of the Turnbull and Asher shirts are a little bit funky as far as the style, but I have both, and I like both. Craig, what are the security measures in place to deter moths? Okay, so moths are an issue. They are an issue, and I've had some things damaged by moths. Not that much, thank God. Knock on wood. The best thing you can do, believe it or not, the best thing you can do is agitate the fabrics often. The garments that tend to fall prey to moth damage tend to be garments that are in the back of your closet that haven't moved for years, and they've had time to do their thing. The eggs and it's all very fragile. So if you take a cashmere coat and you like smack it with your hand and just agitate it and all, even if you don't wear it that day, if you just agitate it and do that every couple of weeks, I think you're probably going to be okay. And of course, keep the place clean, keep the closet that it's in, keep everything vacuumed nice. Some people like to have cedar lined closets and all that. I've had things even in a cedar chest that is sealed, theoretically, get moth damage if they sit long enough, right? I don't know how those suckers get to the cashmere, but they get to it. They love cashmere, and they'll eat wool too. So the best thing you can do is use them regularly or agitate them if you're not using them regularly. Take a sport coat and hold it on the hanger and just smack the hell out of it and just really agitate it. And that will, that'll help. Okay, I hear that Power Rangers use JR soles. Okay, Triforce Richardson in the house. Thanks for reminding us, Dur. Could someone send Craig a link of the original Power Rangers in and out of outfit for Craig to rank their rank tier list style? Okay, there. Okay, I got it. Good call. Let's see. He should play the original intro into the show. Oh, speaking about playing things, let's go to my brand here. And I have a new thing that I'm going to say here on the channel, because we talked about how the people say that the brands are controlling me and that they're loaning me watches and telling me everything to say and all of this stuff, right? But here's my take on that.
The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
So there you go. I did it my way. I did it my way, folks. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I did it my way. Life is too short to be beholding to controlling brands that try to control you. Okay, let's see. Bree is probably going to have to hire assistants to help her offload Craig's wardrobe, but she's going to be buying many BTC coins with the proceeds. We are actually going to be liquidating some things. That's a good point. Send him the link. Okay. I wonder if Bree knows hip hop kiddo. I don't know what the used to do. on the show. They should do a dance off. Okay. Well, wait till Bree's on the show. I think she's going to be on a show tomorrow at 5. I think we're going to have a show. Craig looking like a Nora detective with the trench coat and fedora. There you go. And yeah, I mean, I like my trench coats. Let's pull that up here. Let's get a time check while I do this. Yeah, so I like a Burberry trench coat, but it's got to be the 100% cotton one. It can't be the blends that they came out with later. And the original classic Burberry is always 100% cotton. There's one right there. And I have a 100% cotton, unlined and lined. I've got both. And then I also have a fly front one that's not the trench style. That's a fly front coat that is also 100% cotton. So that's what you want. And I pointed out to Steve when we went to New York, he had a raincoat that was not 100% cotton. He was all proud of his Burberry that he had, right? But it wasn't the 100% cotton one. And I could tell just by looking at it, right? And I said, it's a nice one, but next time get the all cotton one. Because of course I had my all cotton one with me, right? and so yeah, he didn't take that too well, but it is what it is. I'm trying to help here, folks. I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to, put anybody down. I'm just trying to help because a lot of times this information is not out there. A lot of times people don't realize there's a significant difference between the all cotton Burberry and the blend ones. Significant quality difference. It's not just the fabric. It's a whole different thing. Let's see. Where did you get that information about the tannery? Beto's Leatherwork shared it on his Instagram, and then I followed up and found the article, and it's in the description of this video. So check it out. Craig, please listen to your viewers and get 10 random items from the closet house and tell us about them. We need Craig Shipp Show and Tell segment. We're going to do show and tell, but I don't think it's going to be 10 items. I think that'll be too many items for one show. And I want to do it when Bree's here so that she can get up and get the item and come back, and it'll be easier to do than me having to get up and go get the item. But we'll start today with my cashmere waistcoat that is was probably made in the 80s. I've had it a long time. It was made in France. I don't have that much that's made in France, but this was made in France. It was, when I tried it on, it was very comfortable because it's elastic in the back. It's like a wool, elasticized wool or whatever. It gives a little bit in the back, and then the front is all cashmere. And it is exceptionally comfortable. So I like to wear it on days when I want just a little extra warmth, and I want that cashmere to just kind of just fondle, and for the ladies to fondle. So that's what we do about that. Okay. Okay. Wow, JR really closing. What will Beto's leather use? Well, I talked about Beto's. He's got a pretty good stock of it, he says, that will last him a while. And I think they are also taking orders through January, and he'll probably order a bunch more. But hopefully there are other options. There are other makers that are good at what they do and that he'll be able to use. Thanks, Bree, for testing the durability of the 9F movement. I feel much better about abusing my SBGN005. Yes, you're not going to be able to hurt that puppy. That is robust. Craig, how many scratches are on that GS? Did you hear Rolex users are wearing protective stickers on their watches because they're afraid to scratch them? Oh, no, I'm not surprised about that at all. As far as this watch, there's one scratch down at around 6 o'clock that is noticeable. Let me see if I can cut to it. Um, see if I can get this in focus. Here we go. There, right there. See the scratch? So that's there. Nothing else really noticeable on mine. Breeze has a number of scratches around the bezel. A few were added in the recent drop, but hers already had a patina going on, and it's looking great. It's looking sharp. That watch looks gorgeous with that patina. I think the more of a patina you get, the better. See, now I've always been one who, for some reason, maybe I've been lucky, knock on wood, I have never had a big problem with scratching up my watches. My date 8, which I wore for 20 years, the most recent one I had, that is the date 8 I had the longest of all the date 8s I had. It had no real major scratches at all. I mean, it was in great condition when I sold it. So, and I wore that a lot. So, for whatever reason, I don't tend to bang my watch against things. Some people bang on it against door handles and stuff like that on a regular basis. I've been lucky in that I tend to not bang it on things. I have banged the 231 when I was at an event shooting and reaching in between two poles in a metal fence, and I was banging that thing. I banged that several times when I was covering an event, and I knew I was banging it, and I was like, each time I'd bang it, I said, okay, I got to be more careful and not bang it, and then I'd bang it again. And it held up fine. It didn't, I don't think there's really any marks from that. I was banging the case against steel, and it seems to have held up. So that titanium is really robust stuff. What else? Okay. Here's the stunner responding back. I know I have lots of scratches and a few dents. I don't think I'll ever recover from that fall. Not even after a good Outback steak dinner. No. You'll be fine. John in the house. I remember you were telling Steve he should have custom made shirts, and he denied it, and he looked like he was embarrassed. Oh, I don't know that I suggested custom made shirts because I've never had custom made shirts. I think you can buy like this Skitman Brothers shirt, which is an off the rack shirt, and it's fine. Would I like the cuffs to have a little more room, a little looser because my arms are kind of oversized? Yeah, but I'm not going to pay the money for custom shirts just to get that. I'm okay with the cuff being a little tight. In some ways, the cuff being a little tight is a plus. So no, but I will tell you, well, I guess I shouldn't tell you, but anyway, Steve had an experience with having, I think, some custom sport coats made recently that was not a good experience, but I'll let him tell you details about that if he chooses to. And please don't tell him that I said anything. He's not happy about it. I think he fell victim to the new styles where they're making everything real tight and undersized. And he said he couldn't even hardly move in the jacket when he put it on. It was expensive too. I think he had 2 of them made. So he's not happy. He can't even wear them. They're not even comfortable. So yeah, you got to be real careful buying a suit or sport coat today because a lot of them are garbage, absolute garbage. Their cut is real tight. They're going to be real uncomfortable to move. And people are actually buying that stuff and actually wearing it. I saw somebody in public the other day wearing one of those sport coats that looks like a little boy's coat. It's real short. And the pants that he had on were also real short and real tight. And he looked ridiculous. He looked like Pee Wee Herman or something, right? It was really bad. So be careful. Watch out for that. Dur says, I was made in the 80s. Okay. What do you think of all the Chinese buying up all of the luxury watches? I also heard that some Saudis have been buying Richard Mille watches as stores of value and paying like $500,000 for a $100,000 watch. And I've also heard that they are now starting to gravitate towards Bitcoin, and that they might start selling all those watches. So there might be a glut of those watches on the market soon. Same for the other watches. I think people are going to start waking up and realizing that that money is better off being in Bitcoin. So I think the adjustment to that market is incoming. Stay tuned. I think we're at the top. Craig, are you still planning a trip to Japan with Bree? That will make for a great documentary series. It is possible. Our first trip, I think, is going to be to El Salvador. I think we're going to El Salvador this winter. So stay tuned. Has Bree acquired one full coin yet? She is doing really well. I'm not going to say how much Bitcoin she has, because that's up to her, and I don't think she's going to tell you either. And I don't think anybody should disclose how much Bitcoin they have, but she is doing great, especially for a 21-year-old. She's doing fantastic, and most of it she's earned. So that's really good. Can we not get Beto on the show? He has a Rolex sub, right? It's a fake. The Rolex sub he wears is a fake. And I did invite him to come on the show, but I never heard anything from him. I'd love for him to come on the show, but I haven't heard anything. I wonder if the Japanese CEO of GS will send a company limo to pick you guys up and arrange a 5-star hotel. That would be nice. That would be nice. Let's see here. Craig, word on the block is that MRG G-Shocks are Zaratsu polished. I don't know. I can't address that. Craig, you never explained the story about how the Day-Date was stolen and recovered. You promised you would tell the full story, and you haven't yet. No, I didn't. I never promised that. I never promised that. Basically, it was fortunate in that it was a transaction that a third party did. Okay, I had a third party selling the watch, and they accepted bogus payment for the watch. And I'm not going to go into details about who that party was and so on, because I don't have authorization to do that. Fortunately, the party that got the watch, basically illegally, made a big mistake. And in Maryland, when you try to pawn something, there's a procedure that they go through, and they got snagged. And so we were able to recover the watch and then subsequently make a legitimate sale. And so we dodged a serious bullet there. But the third party that was handling the transaction would have been responsible if it wasn't recovered anyway. So, but that's kind of how the whole thing went down. Fortunately, it was a stupid enough individual that we were able to make the recovery. Dur's in the house. I'll tell you what was not a 5-star hotel. Mike Hotel Suites of Gambrels. My foot still hurts from the shower knob falling off and hitting me in the foot. That thing was heavy. It fell off in our room too. It you're supposed to just turn it, right? And it looks like you're supposed to pivot it up, but if you pull up on it, it comes right off. The same thing happened, and it went dong, and I'm like, what the hell was that? Yes, that is funny. That is funny. And I forgot to tell them when I checked out that thing was loose. So the next person, it's going to fall and hit their foot too. You should have seen the Indian knockoff version that Kyle, Leslie, and I accidentally went to. Oh, okay. So you guys went to the place on the other side of town. Yeah. Craig has oversized muscles, Carlos, and now talk about somebody who has oversized muscles. It's Carlos. Okay. If he can't wear the jacket, Steve needs to lose weight then, especially if they were custom made. No, see, if you get the little boy's cut, it's never going to fit right. It's just never going to work. I mean, the whole point of, you look at any of the old movies with Cary Grant and Bing Crosby and all those guys, you look at how they all dressed. All of the suits had plenty of material in them, because that allows you to move. It turns out that if you don't have plenty of material, like this shirt has plenty of material in the sleeves, right? turns out that that helps you move, right? Same thing in the slacks. If the slacks are real tight, when you sit down, it binds. When it flexes at the knee, it all binds and it's very uncomfortable. So it turns out that these skinny designs are, maybe they look good, and I don't even think they look good, but they certainly are not comfortable. That's not even debatable. But why do you think Bill's khakis are so full, the original khakis that they make still? I'm not going to talk about that. I'm sure they have some skinny ones they sell also, but the original design that they still sell, why do you think there's so much fabric in those pants? It's not because you know, they save money by using extra fabric. It costs them money to buy that fabric, right? David says, my experience at Microtel was fine, not high end, though fine for that trip. Like the proximity to the shop. Yes, it worked out for me. Yes, I agree. I agree with that. Triforce in the house. Craig, do you recommend I size up in my clothes? And if so, how many sizes? No, just buy traditionally cut stuff and it's going to be fine. If you wear a size 40 coat, buy yourself a size 40 Oxford sport coat that's a traditional cut, and you're going to be good. It's going to be great. You're going to love wearing it, and it's going to look great, and you can wear it for decades. That's what I would do. That's what I have done. FMD, do not go to El Salvador if you do not want to be there. Trust me. Do not go to El Salvador. You do not want to be there. Trust me. We'll see. I think it's going to be fine. I think there's some areas that are fine. I've talked to a lot of people that have gone there and had no issues. Durs in the house. All my suits need to be well fitting. Now they are form fitting. Gotta love all those steak dinners. Craig, you predicted the watch market failing and there's no end in sight. I don't know. I never predicted a date. I never predicted when it's going to crash because I don't know. It might even go on for another 2 years. But I would want to, if I was sitting on big profits right now, I would not keep, you know, playing the game. The music is going to stop and there isn't going to be enough chairs. So if you want to get stuck, if you want to be one of the ones to be stuck, then go ahead and keep holding and let's see what happens there. Carlos, my microtel room is really great, especially taking in consideration trashy L standards. Truth is, it was good value for the money. There you go. Carlos in the house was good value. Yes. Craig, what do you consider a bigger mistake, buying Tudor or hiring Sam? Well, it was a waste of time to go through the Sam experience, but I mean, maybe he learned something. I learned something. And it is what it is. I mean, I've had more than one person disappoint me as far as promising to be able to do certain things and not being able to come through. So that's not anything new. As far as buying a Tudor, that would be a big mistake under any circumstances. So yeah, I mean, they would both be big mistakes. There's no reason to buy a Tudor. So Triforce Rich, glad to hear you enjoyed my toilet, Carlos. You still owe me $50 in BTC for the damage, and I had to pay for after you broke the toilet eating too much food. Uh-oh, Triforce Rich going into collection mode. Why the hell was Steve ordering one of those tight coats? Was he trying to be a hipster? I don't know. I mean, sometimes people sell you a bill of goods, right? They're like, hey, this is the latest style and you're going to love it and all this stuff. And people go along with this crap. I mean, I don't know why people feed into this stuff. I mean, to some of us, it's obvious, but there's a lot of people out there buying real crap clothing these days. I mean, look at the guy. Look at that VIP that was at the event, you know, Adam. I mean, look at how he was dressed. I mean, are you kidding me? You can't dress a little nicer than that? I mean, I'm not saying everybody should wear a suit and tie, but couldn't he wear a decent shirt and some decent slacks or something? I mean, I don't know what's going on with people these days. I just don't know. Triforce Rich is hanging around. And see, I find high-end clothes to be more comfortable. I find a high-quality shirt, I just love the fabric. I love the feel of the fabric. This is like a long staple Egyptian cotton, I'm sure. It just feels great. And high-quality wool feels great. A high-quality cashmere just feels great. It's a joy to wear. And so, and some of this cheap crap that people wear all the time, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. Don't try to tell me it is. Craig, do you think if Cary Grant was a man of today, same general personality, that he would wear the old cuts of suits? I think he would still wear traditional cuts of suits, yes, because he always wore kind of, fairly traditional stuff. There are a lot of people that still wear traditional cuts of suits nowadays. You always had the traditional cut that's always going to be in style, and then you had the hipster stuff that comes in and out of style, like the narrow lapels and the wide lapels and all that stuff, right? That stuff all goes in and out of style. The typical look of an Oxford suit has been the same forever. Let me pull up a typical Oxford. Okay, so that sport coat was the coat that I wore at the event, and that is cashmere and wool, and that's one of the only cashmere and wool blend Oxford sport coats I have. Most of the Oxford sport coats I have are 100% cashmere or silk. I have one that's silk. I've one that's wool. But anyway, if you look at the lapels on that, and then you go look at like an old Cary Grant movie or something like that, it's going to be very similar. Okay. It's going to have a very similar look to that coat that I have on right there. All right. And so that coat you could wear 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. You can wear 10 years from now, 20 years from now. That is timeless. Okay. So if you buy that, you'll always be comfortable in it. It'll feel great. It'll look great, and it'll last the test of time. So that's what I would do, and that's what I have done. So I'm not telling anybody to do anything that I haven't already done. Let's see. There's the Cary Grant. Who's Craig? A better choice. I just lost my track of comments here. Craig, do you think okay, all right, there we go. All right, so here we go. Not be the case, Maryland would not. Okay, so we're going to keep going here. Try for switch. The toilet was probably already broken. Okay. Let's see here. People that maybe they're still sports watches would be better off selling them and buying BTC. Yes, of course. I'm wearing the ring of power. I feel okay. I hope that ring doesn't turn your finger green. Craig, how big a deal is it that this tanneries clothing, is it if like Patek clothes shop? I don't know. I'm not like privy to the details of the industry and how many sources they have for that sort of leather. My guess is there are other sources that are almost as good or as good, but I just don't have the inside track on that. So Craig, you think I'll have a better chance with the ladies if I wear fuller clothes, like your Bill's khakis, for example? I'm taking notes. Triforce Rich. I mean, I think you're going to do great with the ladies, period. I mean, you're a good looking guy. I mean, my God, you look like Superman, for God's sake. So I think you could probably wear whatever you want, but I would want to wear things that are comfortable. I mean, my God, life is short. And I think the ladies would be fine with it if you dressed, in the kinds of things I'm talking about. I think the ladies would be fine with it. I think they care more about how they're dressed than how you're dressed, believe it or not. That's a pro tip, by the way. Pro tip, the ladies care about how they're dressed a whole lot more than they care about how you're dressed. So just compliment them on their their dress and their shoes and all that stuff, and they'll be fine. Who's Adam? Was he? What was he wearing? And did you buy Sam all of this expensive stuff and he never gave it back? Took the money and ran. John, come on, don't be so negative all the time. Come on, that's depressing. Go look at some of the pictures. Go look at the blog post that Little Treasury did. There's a picture of him in there if you want to see how Adam was dressed. And he's the guy that's in charge of Red Bar Group. I can't pronounce his last name, but anyway, search Red Bar Group Adam. You'll probably find all kinds of photos of him. And yeah, you'll see how he dresses. So yeah, I don't know if he dresses that way all the time, but I get the impression he dresses like that all the time. Just doesn't give a shit, excuse my French. As far as Sam, I gave him some really nice outfits, some of which were outfits that I had that I was no longer really using, so it was no big deal. Some of which some stuff I did buy for him, and he didn't take the money and run. I told him he could have all that stuff. I didn't have any use for it. It was clothing for him to fit him. It doesn't fit me. I mean, so I'm not going to take it back. It is what it is. So I'm in baby step 7 right now, as Dave Ramsey would say, which means I can be exceedingly generous. And I've been known to be exceedingly generous. Carlos, try. You do not have any chance with the girls. Try with Deter. I've heard he is desperate lately. There you go. What do you think of the modern stupid trend of people wearing sneakers with suits? Look it up. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's insane, especially with the real short pants and the sneakers. It's absolutely silly. First of all, I don't think people should wear sneakers unless they're playing tennis or something like that. There are much better options. I've been telling Carlos for, I don't know, a year now. Buy a pair of Russell moccasins. That's a great walking shoe. There are much better shoes for walking and for leisure than using a sneaker, because sneakers, your feet smell and all that nasty stuff. I mean, they're just nasty. No, it's a total fail to be wearing sneakers all the time, I think. There's in the house. There's an old story that Craig traded Bill a pair of khakis, and that Craig is still wearing Bill's khakis, and Bill is still wearing Craig's khakis to this day. How did you know? How did you know that? Wait till I get a pair of Russells and Bill's khakis. The women of Spain will be flocking. I'll tell you what, you will love it. You will love it. You'll never go back to wearing, cheap crap sneakers again. And I don't care if you pay $300 for your sneakers. They're cheap crap. They could probably cost $2 to make in China, right? So yeah, Deter's in the house. The women, men, and that will all be going after Triforce Rich after the Russell. Okay, I can't keep up with you guys. Humphrey Bogart had good style, but Steve McQueen was the best. Yeah, he also he was really good at dressing casual and making that work. I even like that one movie that he was wearing the Air Force flight jacket. And I have one of those, and they used to make those in the USA. And that's a great flight jacket. Those are super comfortable. They have 2 big pockets that you can reach in like this. If you need to put a handgun in one or something. They're really practical. And I showed one the other day. Let me pull up a picture here. This is the one that, this is the same model that he was wearing in the movie, and super practical. And they're kind of hard to find now, the ones that are made in the USA. A lot of them are made in Vietnam and stuff like that. But if you can get a hold of one of those in your size, that's a very practical jacket to wear. in cold weather. So there you go. You get it all on this channel, folks. All right, let's get caught up here. Spanish girls will kill you. I sent a gold GS to look at, less than 10K. All right, we will look. What kind of clothes did that Cuban guy, I think he was Cuban, wore that you talked about, the very attractive one? He wore he wore suits that were a little more trendy. Like he liked some of the designer suits, like back then it was like Pierre Cardin, and some of that stuff was real popular, and he wore some of those. So he was wearing a little more trendy suits, but they were still comfortable by today's standards. They were nothing like the skinny suits that they sell now. Um, so yeah, he dressed a little more at the edge, but still by today's standards, it would be conservative, right? If that makes any sense. Let's look at the GS here real quick, then we'll catch up. That is interesting. Nice looking case. Let's look at all the photos here. I like the indices. I like the dial. Looks like box and papers. Oh, no, now that I look at the lugs are a little bit squared off. I would have liked them to have been more tapered down to the edge, but I mean, it's not hateful. Not hateful by any means. And I don't mind the screwed on back. Some people don't like that. And I like the signed crown on Brianna's more than this one with the Grand Seiko spelled out, but I mean, that's not the end of the world, but I like hers with just the GS on it. And this has the display back. That's interesting. I would probably rather just have gold, but it is what it is. So yeah. So it is, what size here? It's manual winding. What's the case size here? How come I don't see the case size? Oh, 37 mil, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. So, okay. Not sure what that's replying to. Okay. Have you noticed every watch YouTuber uses Archie to get them known, and then they abandon him and act like they never knew him? It's crazy because Archie has, let's see, more knowledge than them. Well, yeah. Craig, how attractive were ladies in Russia? There's some very attractive ladies in Russia. Very attractive. I don't know what's about the cold weather. Maybe it's the cold weather that makes their skin real nice and that keeps them thin. Because you got to burn calories in the winter to keep yourself warm, right? That burns calories. And they walk a lot. They walk a lot. So yeah, there were some beauties over there. Steve has a very nice solid gold ladies Omega DeVille on a strap in his used section. Okay. Let's see. I've known several Spanish women in my time, and they have always been very nice to me. Carlos, they are fun girls. Maybe if I dated them, yes, they would try to kill me. There you go. Steve was wearing sneakers with his suit at the event. Oh, he was? Okay, I didn't notice that. He might be having some problems with his feet or something. What about people wearing t-shirts instead of dress shirts with suits? Yeah, it's silly. It's just silly. My feet smell like most luxurious perfumes. Hello, Steve was really doing that. I'm laughing out loud. Okay, good. So your feet seem like Saudi. Okay. Let's see. I've not smelled Saudi feet. His smelt better. 18 karat yellow gold. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I think we got everything taken care of today. What do you think of the Omega 38 millimeter white Aqua Terra? Any thoughts on the new Speedmaster? I'm not a big fan of Speedmasters in general, just because I don't find them useful. I would never use the stopwatch function on a watch in this day and age. So I like a cleaner dial with less distractions, but to each their own. As far as the 38 millimeter white Aqua Terra, I'd have to see a picture of the one you're looking at. If you want to send an email to me during a live show, it's my name, CraigShipp, CraigShipp @gmail.com, and we'll pull it up and we'll look at it. I don't know if we're going to have time this show, but if you can email it right away, we might have time this show. But otherwise, send an email to a link and we'll pull it up on the screen and we'll take a look at it. Craig, you should get a job in the GS booth at Little Treasury. I'm guessing that they can't afford me. So there's that. I'm going to send an email soon. Wait. You're trying to delay the closure of the show. That's what you're trying to do here. So folks, let's see. I'm going to email you soon. Masha, the lovely Masha. Yes, the lovely Masha. She was an example of an attractive Russian young lady. Yes. Triforce Rich in the house. There you go. All right. What else? Oh, let me get the email. Jeez. Oh my goodness, that is funny. Can you imagine somebody buying one of those? I mean, look how ugly the hour hand is. I mean, just atrocious. A, can you imagine somebody buying it? And B, can you imagine them actually wearing it? I mean, that would even be worse. I mean, buying it is one thing, right? You can hide it somewhere, but if you are actually wearing that thing in public, talk about a fail. Let me check and see if there's any other email here coming in, and then we're going to wrap. Okay. All right. I think we're done. Let's see. False advert. Yeah, we saw that. What do you think of the new Transex 007? If you're talking about the steel version of this watch, I think it's a stunner. Craig loved my tutor. You should sell that thing right away and put that money in Bitcoin. Let's see. If Masha ever went to a heavy metal concert, would she get into the mosh pit? If so, would it then be a Masha pit? Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm not into the heavy metal thing, so I'm not sure about the mosh pit. The Ultimate Diver's Watch. Somebody's crying on that one. That better not happen, Carlos. Email sent with the Aqua Terra. All right, let's see if we can find this. I'm not sure you sent it to the right email. It's my name, CraigShipp, 2 P's, @gmail.com. So I'm not seeing it yet. Still not seeing it. So we'll see how that happens. Let's see. Kyle, it has already happened. The new movie. Okay. All right. And what else? Okay, so we got a photo shoot tomorrow. Got a lot of things going on tomorrow. The Apple event is, I think, at 1 o'clock Eastern time here in the US. It's usually the time it is. So they're going to have an Apple event. And the rumors are they're going to announce new MacBook Pros, the high-end MacBook Pros. And I'm hoping that they've got a killer 13-inch MacBook Pro coming out because I'm interested in upgrading my 2017 13-inch MacBook Pro. So I'm looking to do that. And so I'll be watching that event tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And if they say you can order now, I'm going to order. I'm going to order a loaded up MacBook Pro, loaded to the freaking gills. Been waiting on this. I've been salivating, just waiting for this computer. So yeah, because Brianna pushes my computer to the limit. I mean, she's no joke. She pushes things to the limit. And so we have to upgrade. Craig, if a man took over your business, would you want them to marry Bree so that your disciples all become part of the family? Yeah, at some point we're going to have, well, Bree is going to be in charge. So it's not a question of a man taking over the business. Bree is taking over the business. Now, she may bring in some partners. If Kyle and Leslie want to come, we may bring them in as partners. But Bree is going to be, one of the partners. And so, yeah, we'll have to figure all that out. Kyle, have you seen the new Black Transex 007? Rest in peace, James Bond. What a disaster. Somebody said no. Okay. All right. So now I think you guys are trying to, what if it has no ports? I think they're going to add ports. I think it's going to, well, it will have at least 4 ports. The current high end one has 4 ports. It'll have at least that, but I think they're going to add a couple more. We'll know tomorrow. Do you think the 007 looks okay? If someone bought Frederick.com, does Bree come as part of the deal? It depends on the terms. I mean, if they want to buy it and they don't want her to convey, then she would just share in the profit. Yes. The coronavirus would have been a better villain to take James Bond out than the crap in that film. Okay. All right. I think we got the Aqua Terra. Stand by. We actually got 2 emails here, I think. Okay, so here's the 005 checking in, the stunning 005 checking in. I love it. I love it. So that's that. And let's go back. And let's look at the Aqua Terra. I do like it. I like the Aqua Terra. I like the non-skeletonized hands. I'm not a big fan of Omega's skeletonized hands. And I like that. I like the look of it. I think that could be a lifetime watch. I think that could be a lifetime watch. Now, would I buy a Grand Seiko before I would buy that? Yes. For the same amount of money, I would probably buy a Grand Seiko over the Omega. But then again, if you bought the Omega used, you could probably get it for a better price than a decent Grand Seiko. So you might have to pay up a little more to get the Grand Seiko, but I would go with the Grand Seiko. But if I was going to go Omega, yes, I think that's a good play. I think that's a good play. And Daniel Craig saying a lot of times at gay bars. Yeah, he looks like he's a little light in the loafers. That's right. That looks great with my dirty hat. There you go. All right, folks. Thanks you everyone for tuning in. This is it. We're out of here. It's coming up on 6 o'clock straight up. Coming up on 6 o'clock straight up. Thank you all for tuning in. And we should have a show tomorrow if we can get our act together. Stay tuned.